Welcome back, my gentle people. This is Corner Stories with your daily serving of relationship stories. Am I wrong for saying my GF's male friend cannot be like a brother to her because they hooked up? Basically the title. I've been with my GF for little under a year, and she has a male friend. I asked about their friendship and she called him like a brother. And that was that. Yes, I was feeling a bit insecure, but I let it go. Fast forward a bit, and one of her friends mentioned that they hooked up once. He was drunk, basically saying how secure I was for being cool with their friendship. When me and my GF get some time, I asked her about it and she confirmed it. I told her she basically lied to me saying that he's like a brother, but she says it was a one-time thing, and he's like a brother now. I mentioned that once you F, you can't call someone like a brother, because you don't F your brothers at all. Well, at least it's not acceptable where we live. Update. So I had a talk with my GF once my head got cleared. I told her it felt deceitful to call this guy her brother. I told her that when I asked her about their friendship, that I meant if there was any romantic or sexual history. I told her I was sorry for not being clear. My GF apologized too. She said that it makes sense, that's what I meant. And she didn't mean to be misleading. She just forgot about hooking up with him. She says it's just not something she associates with him anymore. She doesn't think of him as a guy she had sex with once, she thinks of him as her friend. But she still says she should have been clear too. She says that she only wants me and that she's sorry for the misunderstanding. I told her I was sorry for overreacting and being insecure. Final update. My GF lied about their history. Ever since we made up, my GF has been acting weird. I tried asking her what's wrong, but she would dismiss it. She also stopped inviting me out with her friends as much. She told me it was because she just wanted some space between us. I had a really bad feeling, so I talked to the friend that told me about my GF's and her friend's history. He said he was sorry, and it wasn't his business. I started asking him more questions though, and he eventually said they actually hooked up multiple times. My GF said it was a one-time thing. I talked to my GF about, and she was annoyed at first for bringing this up, but I asked her about how many times they hooked up, and she sighed. She then told me that they were FWBs for a few years, but nothing else. I asked her why did she lie about this, and she said that it wasn't a big deal, and knew that my ego wouldn't be able to handle it. I'll be honest, if my ego could handle it or not, but the fact that she lied to me about this until was just too much for me. I could buy her for getting a once-in-a-time hookup, but FWB for years? Even if she forgot before, when I talked to her about, she wouldn't have mentioned it. At this point, I just can't trust her anymore. So I broke up with her. I feel so damn stupid, and tried to be the secure person, but she still lied to me. Relevant comments. Yeah, it's not on you, man. You knew something smelled funky, she lied to you, that's all there is to it. Had she come right out and said the truth, yeah, it might have hurt, but you wouldn't have felt like there was some big conspiracy in the works driving you mad and hiding things from you. Instead you had to go on this big winding journey just to get the truth and being insulted why you weren't told the truth in the first place. If she lied about it, there's a reason she lied. She obviously still has feelings for the dude, and you're probably better off not getting in a competition between yourself and her lover brother FWB backburner boyfriend, especially not when the prize is her. Breaking up was honestly the best thing. She purposely lied to you, claiming it would be your insecurity that couldn't handle it, when in reality it was likely a safety net she wanted to keep close by. If not still occasionally being with. Story 2. Found out that my 25F boyfriend's 25M dad 44M is my ex-FWB. My boyfriend and I met through a mutual friend and started dating a few months ago. We're head over heels for each other. This weekend I met his parents. We went over to their house to have dinner. The moment I see his dad, it hits me, he's my ex-friend with benefits. We hooked up regularly, met through a dating app, for about a year until a year ago when he told me that he wanted to start seeing someone and for our fling to end. I was, of course, okay with this. The woman that he wanted to date then and for which he stopped our sex sessions is my boyfriend's stepmom, I guess. The entire meeting was uncomfortable and awkward to say the least. His dad and I didn't exchange any words in private. I could barely look him in the eyes at the dinner table. Anyway, we eventually leave and I text him about the entire situation. He said that if I want to date his son long term I can't tell him what happened between us and we have to act casual around each other. The past is the past after all. Ever since then I've been constantly thinking whether I should be honest with my boyfriend or not. I don't want to keep any secrets from him, and it also makes me feel kind of uneasy since it's a pretty important detail to be hiding from somebody, especially you're so. I don't want to lose him either because I really love him a lot. What do you suggest I should do? Update January 14, 2022. In the end, I've decided to tell my boyfriend everything, but first I wanted to get to the bottom of what went down with his dad and now wife. Apparently, he really wasn't cheating. Surprisingly. Yes, they've been together for a few years now, but up until the point of marriage, when he broke off our FWB arrangement, they were in an open relationship. I even talked with the wife on the phone and she confirmed this. So yeah, thankfully the dad isn't a cheating POS after all, and I wasn't his mistress. He told me that he wanted me not to tell my boyfriend because he truly didn't want him to get hurt and wished our relationship would go on as smoothly as possible, but if I really felt like the right thing to do is to tell him I can go ahead. So I did. I sat my boyfriend down and just told him everything. At first he was shocked, then angry, and then he started to calm down a little bit. He told me he needed time to think about it and what his decision is about the future of our relationship, so I said okay and gave him space and time. Today, he called me to meet up. He said that after a lot of thought he decided that he wanted to continue with our relationship, since what happened in the past wasn't done with ill intent. So basically, he said that the past is the past and the present is the present and we should just live by that. That is the end of that extremely wild story. I have no comments. I leave that to you, my lovely viewers and listeners. Let's just move on now and get to story 3. OP, 24F, accidentally outs her FWB roommate, 25F. She is incredibly upset with her. She moved in with me after she lost her job about a year ago. We started sleeping together 3 months after she moved in. We are almost in a relationship as we do everything together. She has told me that she loves me, but she is hesitant to define our relationship. We are a couple in everything but name. She is visiting her mom. She had texted me that she missed me and she couldn't wait to get back. I texted, "I miss you too, love." She was on a drive with her mom. She had her phone connected to her car and her mom accidentally had the text read out loud while trying to change the music. She called me up after she was so furious. She blamed me for it and said sounded so angry. She said her mom was acting weird and said it was all my fault. She said she is going to get kicked out from her family because of me. I feel numb. I really love this girl. She is amazing, but I feel like she wants us to be in this limbo where she can spend time with me and then go back to dating and marry a man. She doesn't even want to be my girlfriend. I feel so guilty for what I did. I just want to talk to her, but she is not picking up my call and is giving me the silent treatment. She has never done anything like this before and I just feel so fucking lost on what I have to do here. TLDR, her mom found out we are seeing each other and she is not talking to me anymore. Update, I needed someone to knock some sense into that. She wasn't treating me well and I was really hurt by her actions. I texted her that we will talk when we got back and I stopped trying to contact her. She returned home a few days later and she was rattled and upset. Her parents had told her to settle down with a nice man and that she wasn't welcome back until she decided to end this. She apologized for lashing out at me and we decided we needed to take a break and just be friends for a while. I expected our relationship to end and I was dreading the day she moved out, but she didn't. She came out publicly. She posted on social media about being bi. I read some of the comments her dad made and it was so awful. She asked me out about a month ago. She was sincere and she apologized for how she had treated me. She told me that she had been so scared that she couldn't see that it had been the best relationship she had been in. She was crying and she told me that she understood if I didn't want to date her. She had the money to cover her rent and she was okay with moving out if I didn't want her around. I took some time to think about it and she gave me the space to think. Our relationship was great, and even though she didn't like being labeled my girlfriend, she was and is a great girlfriend. Her being afraid to come out to herself and others was the biggest issue we had. I decided to give it another shot. It has been great. We have gone out and all our friends know about us. She posted photos of us on her social media. Story 3. Best friend never disclosed he was FWB with the girl he set me up with. I am horrified. It's been 6 months. Things between GF and I are pretty serious and now I feel gross. Trigger warning, mentions of trauma and depression, mention of racism, betrayal of trust. Before meeting my current girlfriend, I had been single for a long while. I had several really rough relationships where we just didn't work and it was sad. I had been on the dating apps and it was draining my will to date. Just horrible experiences and I felt like I was just making myself depressed. My best friend said he knew this girl who felt the same way about online dating, had some really bad experiences and was perfect for me. We hit it off almost right away. Our first day was amazing. Our second date was amazing. We went from strangers to seeing each other twice a week. She asked to put off the physical part of our relationship, and no joke, for 2 months we didn't have sex. We didn't have sex until we went away for the first time. We were in a hotel room and it was so awkward. Never have sex for the first time when you are also staying at a hotel together for the first time. We got into a groove and I think we'd both say that we have a great sex life. It's been 6 months, things are going great. We had our first mini vacation together and not long ago she told me she loved me, and I quickly followed. Cut to Sunday and my friends and I are talking. My best friend is busting the chops of another friend. It was in good fun, but he made a joke that our other friend took a little too seriously, so as retribution, he turned to me and told me that my best friend, the guy who introduced me to the girl I am in love with, was not only her FWB but they had one last sexual encounter between our first and second date that I nearly threw up. I know she had a FWB situation, and after our second date she told me she wanted to hold off on the physical but that she was done with the FWB and wanted to know if I would do the same, be exclusive. I didn't have a FWB situation, I wasn't seeing anyone else, and so I cool with it. I wasn't super excited that she was with a different guy, but it was in the past. She never brought it up again and I was happy to never think about it again until my buddy dropped that nuclear bomb. My friend could only mutter, "Dude," and got angry for being outed. He immediately texted my GF, who blew up my phone. My best friend's thoughts on that subject are, get over it. He was angry that our buddy outed him, but felt that it was funnier more than anything and tried to joke we could share notes that I love my friend, but he's gross. He has a natural charm and can get with women, and somehow convinces them to do gross things. He will share bits and pieces of his escapades, and I'm now convinced some things he shared must have been with my GF. He's got a huge dong, which is another blow, given I'm average, I think. On one hand, he's fun and charming, but he'll openly admit that he likes his role as FWB and isn't looking for anything serious, so he's not too concerned with her pleasure or making her feel valued. On the other, he's into some weird things that I haven't seen my GF this week as we were both busy. She knows I learned about the background. She sent a long text on Sunday and it's basically, yeah, he and I banged. I'm with you now. Get over it. I'll see you Friday. I'm really kind of grossed out. The friend who outed the situation told me that I shouldn't get too upset, and another friend said it all had racial undertones. I feel really gross about it. My friend would occasionally mention things he did, and now I can't stop picturing it being my GF. Some dudes might get off on that. Others might be totally cool with it. I feel super awkward, inadequate and gross. Relevant comments: if you had known about them being FWB before your first date, would you still have went on the date? If the answer is no, then I think you have your answer. At the end of the day, everyone involved lied to you and seemed to have no remorse about that, and were committed to continue lying until they got outed. Further, setting your friend up on a date, then banging the girl afterwards seems like a pretty shitty thing to do. OP replied, no, I probably would have respectfully declined. Comment 2. I was expecting more apologies and shame from your GF. She told you to get over this thing they purposefully hid from you. They broke your trust and grossed you out, and now she is making you feel bad for it. Is that correct? It is a gross thing, and if she actually cared about how you feel, maybe there'd be a way to get past it. But she doesn't care, so these thoughts are going to stay in your head if you stay together. I know being alone sucks, but she proves you can find and attract people. Dump her so you don't feel like the pity BF. Then sit your friend down and tell him that you feel grossed out. HW did that. Cut him out if you need to, or keep him if he seems to understand he fucked up. OP replied. She sent a series of long texts basically saying she was sorry and explained herself and what she had done, and then explained the situation and tried to reassure me. I didn't respond, and within 5 to 6 minutes she confirmed we are doing something Friday and then said, "We'll get past this. Let's look forward, not backwards." After that I made perfunctory conversation, but she could tell I was annoyed, angry, and she said the above, basically look forward, not backward. Comment 3. What are the racial undertones? OP replied, he's not white. I am white. Comment 4. Vaginas don't wear out with use. You know she has had other partners before you, and presumably, she wasn't your first either. Who she did before you and her were a thing shouldn't matter to you in the slightest now that you two are together. If it does, you deserve to lose her to someone who is ready to be in a healthy adult relationship. OP replied, yeah, I get the science behind vaginas not wearing out. It's not her being worn, it's that she was with my best friend, a person whom I've known intimately for years. I know his proclivities. I know the kind of weird shit he did. And, it's not like it's someone in the past she won't interact with again, or have less interaction with. He's my best friend. I have to face that every time I see them. Comment 5. This makes me think that you don't really care that they were together but that you feel like you can't ever measure up to your friend. You said she cut things off with him after the first date. That means she liked you enough after spending one day with you that she cut him off. She also has been with you since. This sounds like you already passed her bar for measurement. At this point you have got to decide if you want to work through this or not. She definitely shouldn't have hit it and neither should your friend, but you can't change the past, you can only decide how you're going to move forward. OP replied. What they did together was no doubt gross. I have no illusions, and his grossness is a fact of life. Would I prefer not to tread where he's been? Yeah. Do I feel like I can't measure up? In a very tangible way, I can't. Update. Thanks for everyone's advice. Definitely didn't break up. I couldn't go through with breaking it off. I read all the comments and had about 50 arguments with her in my head where I played both sides. Then I got ready to end it and dump her, but Wednesday she was informed that there had been a horrible tragedy that rocked her whole family and she was just beside herself. She was so upset that I had to call out of work at the end of the week to go be with her. She begged me not to leave, so I told her I would stay. I work in a field where I'm exposed to these kinds of issues on the regular and was able to help her family navigate some common issues and help explain what happened. Her family is really not in a place to do anything right now, so I'm going to spend the rest of the weekend here as no one is eating or thinking clearly, and so they need some people who can help relieve some pressure that I had to call my friend because I didn't have some things I needed, so he went to my place, got everything, drove the 2 hours to bring it and then offered to cover my shift on Monday so I can stay a bit longer. That's the kind of thing I meant when I said he was a good person. He'd drive 4 hours round trip and cover for you without expecting anything in return. Last night GF was going to bring up the issue between us, but instead of having a difficult conversation in the midst of these circumstances, I asked that we just drop it. She wanted clarity and I asked that we ignore it and move on, act like I never found out. She agreed to that. She's been in need of a lot of emotional support and she has been really struggling, but throughout everything she's taken time to tell me how much she loves, appreciates, cares for me and has thanked me repeatedly for helping out. I was helping her mom clean up from a meal and she thanked me for all the help and told me some things my GF confided in her. It was very sweet and apropos of nothing. Her family has been incredibly welcoming and kind despite the circumstances and the fact that I only met them twice before all of this. It's a little weird to go from being at dinner at a restaurant and a family birthday to sleeping in their daughter's room and helping them understand complex issues. Altogether it's really weird and our issues feel a million miles away. I feel awkward about having considered breaking up with her. I had gone over it a million times in my head. I'm not sure how long she'll need me here for, or how long she intends to stay, so I guess I'm sleeping on her floor for a while yet. Does it suddenly not bother me? It still bothers me. Some people said that their behavior was inexcusable and others said I was a dirtbag for bringing it up. I still feel like they lied to me. They knowingly didn't disclose what their relationship was. It had been sexual and they said they were just distant acquaintances. Neither ever mentioned the entire time we were dating in the early phase that they had been going at it. Moreover, we had spent a lot of time together as a group and they pretended to just be acquaintances. That feels really shitty to me. Really, really shitty that I still feel weird about being with someone my friend was with. I feel weird that we both know her in that way. I feel weird that her past is a constant reminder when we're together. When my friend came with my stuff, they interacted for a brief moment and made a feeble attempt at a light-hearted joke about it. It was awkward. I get that on the whole they are entirely wrong for each other and were just mutually bored. She wanted a relationship and was with him until the right one came along. Unfortunately for me, the right one was me, and she was with my friend. I still find it gross, but, on the whole, I think I can get past the gross. I can get past the weird, awkwardness. I have asked that this info never, ever, be shared with anyone who may not know. I have asked that the subject not be brought up again, and over text I asked my friend why he thought we'd hit it off knowing their history. He wasn't apologetic per se, more of a, I told you so, kind of thing, but did explain his rationale that I'm annoyed at my friend and annoyed at my GF, but she needs support and so I need to put all the emotions away. I feel gross and unhappy in some ways, but in others I realize that she and I have a great thing. We share a lot of goals and are aligned on so many things. I know she loves me and I her. I'll get over the dick size differential eventually and hopefully she's not secretly harboring resentment that I'm not hung like a Clydesdale. So, long way of saying nothing changed. Proceeding as if I never found out and pushing my emotions down. Best way to operate for me. Relevant comments. It sounds like the lying bothers you. Don't let it fester too long. Either hash it out with both of them, when the timing is better, or move on. OP replied, it does bother me, but I'm definitely trying not to let it fester. Right now there's no way she has any emotional fortitude, and frankly I'd rather just let it slide into the past and put it out of my mind. Let time heal it, you know? Comment 2. Staying because of trauma is not a good thing. You can support her, and be her friend, but it sounds like you are not going to get over that dirty feeling, and going forward that will resurface. Advice is to get her through this in a platonic way, and then take a break. Are you both really what you want? If so, start over and rebuild, but do it on your own terms with complete transparency. OP replied. Staying only because of the trauma would be a mistake, but without the trauma, I'm not sure I would have dumped her. It's really easy to say, yeah, fuck her, when I'm shaving or in the car driving. It's another when you're face to face with someone and you remember all of the reasons why you liked and loved them in the first place. That is it worth it? To throw everything away? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. And that is the end of the story. That's it guys, this is where I will leave you. I hope you enjoyed the stories I had for you. I certainly enjoyed them. Please be sure to drop a like or a comment, and it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to the channel. Until next time, be kind, be curious, and I will see you. Corner Stories signing off.